he heard the interior door close. Like most people, Olivia went inside before the garage door fully closed. As it lowered, he ducked and stepped over the red-eye sensor into the garage. He had no time to waste. Olivia would have disarmed her security system using her fob from the car before she entered the house. From his surveillance over the past few weeks, he knew she would go into the kitchen, set down her purse, and remove her jacket and shoes before digging the fob out of her pocket. He had at least 60 seconds to get in before she reactivated the system, with him already inside the house. Olivia sometimes woke and paced her house in the middle of the night, so he knew she didn't use motion detectors when she was at home. Counting off the seconds, he strode toward the door, his running shoes silent on the floor. His fingers closed around the knob and he gave it a gentle twist. He pushed lightly and opened the door an inch. Pressing his eye to the crack, he looked inside. The laundry room was empty, with only dim light bleeding in from the adjoining kitchen. This was the part he hadn't been able to plan. He'd never been inside her house before. He knew only the basic layout of the rooms from what he could see through the windows. Pushing the door farther, he slid through the opening, then closed it soundlessly behind him, making sure to release the knob slowly. Then he stood and listened. A doorway led from the laundry room into the kitchen. The white-paneled door between the rooms stood open. A few breaths later, a soft beep signaled the reactivation of the alarm system, and he heard Olivia moving around the kitchen. Footsteps approached, and sweat broke out under his arms. He glanced around, looking for a place to hide. There was a closet across the room, but he wouldn't make it in time. His heartbeat thudded in his ears as he slid behind the open laundry room door and then pressed his back to the wall. Then he waited. He could overpower her here if necessary, but that wasn't ideal. Olivia looked like a scrapper. She'd fight him. He preferred quick and easy. Her shadow passed across the doorway and her steps retreated again. He heard the sound of the refrigerator opening and closing. He exhaled. Another door opened farther back in the house. Olivia was going into her bedroom. He crossed the tile in a few strides and opened the closet door. It was full of heavy winter boots and coats. Perfect. She wouldn't be opening it tonight. He slid inside to wait for the house to become quiet again. For Olivia to go to sleep. For the perfect time to execute his plan. Chapter 2. Olivia Cruz stared at her open closet. She'd spent the last hour rearranging her clothes for autumn. Technically, mid-September was still summer, but the weather in upstate New York had turned cool over the past week. The leaves were changing color and beginning to fall. Last week, she'd broken out her flannel pajamas. Tonight, she'd moved her sandals to a rear shelf and lined up a few pairs of ankle boots in front. Now what? She could separate her blouses by color. This is stupid. Her closet was already ridiculously, ruthlessly organized. She had an important decision to make, and she'd been procrastinating for days. She backed out of the walk-in closet and firmly closed the door. Sleep would help. But she'd managed little of that lately, and she'd dreaded lying in bed staring at the ceiling for yet another night. She rubbed a lump of indigestion behind her breastbone and padded to the bathroom in search of an antacid. Her weekly dinner with her family had distracted her earlier in the evening. Her mother had served frijoles negros, Olivia's favorite traditional Cuban dish. Olivia had overindulged, and the minute she'd left her parents' house in Albany to make the hour drive back to Scarlet Falls, her true crime research had flashed right back into her mind and unsettled her stomach. Chewing an antacid, she mulled over her stunning discovery. The implications of what she'd learned further stirred the black beans and rice in her belly. As a journalist, her job was to seek the truth, not play judge or jury. But should she choose to pursue and publish this truth, other people could pay the price for her revelation, possibly with their lives. Her new book proposal was overdue, but Olivia's predicament felt like a no-win situation. Ignoring the truth went against all her principles. Then again, so did putting other people in danger. But how much risk was involved? Could she live with being responsible for even a single innocent person's death? Obsessing about her research had translated into 3